Welcome to our exploration of a transformative era, the rise of the barbarian kingdoms. How did the collapse of Rome lead to the emergence of these powerful entities? Join us as we unravel this fascinating chapter in history. The Western Roman Empire, a once unparalleled dominion, faced its demise in the 5th century AD. Its disintegration left behind a vacuum of power, igniting a series of events that would reshape the European continent. This tale is not merely about the decline of a civilization, but about the emergence of new powers that forged the path toward the medieval era. Edward Gibbon, in his magnum opus, The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, delves deeply into the causes of Rome's downfall. He identifies a multitude of factors, intricately intertwined, that led to the empire's demise. Let's break down these factors and understand their complex nature. Firstly, Gibbon points to internal decay as a critical factor. This decay wasn't sudden, it was a gradual erosion of the empire's core values and strengths. Political instability became rampant with frequent changes in leadership, often through violent means. The empire, which once prided itself on its republican virtues and efficient governance, was plagued by corruption and bureaucratic inefficiencies. The Senate, once the cornerstone of Roman political life, became increasingly marginalized. Gibbon also highlights economic troubles. Rome's economy, overly reliant on slaves and conquests, started to falter as the pace of territorial expansion slowed. The empire faced a financial crisis, characterized by heavy taxation and inflation, which eroded the wealth and morale of its citizens. Rome's economic model, which had sustained it for centuries, was no longer viable. Furthermore, the military, once the pride of Rome, showed signs of weakness. Recruitment challenges led to the increased reliance on foederati, barbarian mercenaries, who were often less loyal to Rome. The military also faced strategic and logistic challenges, stretched thin across a vast empire that was increasingly difficult to defend. Now, let's talk about the relentless barbarian invasions, a factor often dramatized in historical recounts. The term barbarian broadly refers to the various tribes who lived beyond the borders of the Roman Empire. These included the Goths, Vandals, Franks, and many others, each with their own culture and social structures. They weren't a unified group, their interactions with Rome ranged from trade and military alliances to outright hostility. As the Western Roman Empire weakened, these tribes began to encroach on Roman territories, initially through raids and later through more organized invasions. The barbarian invasions were both a cause and a symptom of Rome's decline. While they certainly exerted pressure on the empire, they were also attracted to the wealth and stability that Rome represented, even as it waned. In summary, Gibbon paints a picture of a once mighty empire brought to its knees by a combination of internal weaknesses and external pressures. The fall of Rome was not just the result of a barbarian invasion, it was a complex process that involved the gradual disintegration of the political, economic, and military foundations of the empire. It's a story of decline that provides us with profound insights into the nature of empires and the forces that shape their destinies. In our journey to understand the rise of the barbarian kingdoms, it's crucial to explore the diverse tribes that played a pivotal role. Each tribe, from the formidable Visigoths to the seafaring Vandals, had its own distinct culture, origins, and impact on the Roman world. Let's start with the Visigoths. Originating from the regions we now know as Scandinavia and Eastern Europe, the Visigoths were initially part of the larger Gothic tribe, which later split into two groups, the Visigoths and the Ostrogoths. The Visigoths, known for their fierce warrior culture, first appeared on the Roman radar during their migration southwards in the late 4th century. Their interaction with the Roman Empire was complex, marked by periods of warfare, alliances, and even serving as mercenaries for the Romans. The sacking of Rome by Alaric I in 410 AD, a landmark event, demonstrated their formidable military prowess and the waning power of Rome. Next, the Ostrogoths, who were initially less known than their Visigothic kin, rose to prominence under the leadership of Theodoric the Great. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, they established a kingdom in Italy, which became a center of learning and culture, blending their own traditions with Roman customs. The Franks, a coalition of Germanic tribes, settled in the Roman province of Gaul. They were unique in their adoption of Roman culture and their conversion to Christianity, which set them apart from other barbarian groups. Under the leadership of Clovis I, the Franks founded a kingdom that became the most powerful and enduring of the post-Roman states, laying the foundation for modern-day France. The Alans, an Iranian nomadic group, and the Suebi, a Germanic tribe, were also part of the Great Migrations. While they initially settled in Gaul, they later moved into the Iberian Peninsula, where they established their own realms, although these were relatively short-lived compared to the kingdoms of the Visigoths and Franks. The movements of these tribes were not mere invasions, they were complex migrations influenced by a variety of factors, including climate change, pressure from other nomadic tribes, and the allure of the Roman Empire's wealth. As they settled in Roman territories, they began reshaping the political and cultural landscape of the region. Their interactions with the remnants of the Roman world led to a fascinating amalgamation of cultures, which would lay the groundwork for the medieval European identity. As the Roman Empire's control waned, the barbarian tribes found opportunities to expand and settle. The Visigoths, initially allies of Rome, began their incursion in the Balkans around the end of the 4th century. This movement marked the beginning of a significant shift in the power dynamics of Europe. The Visigoths, under the leadership of Alaric I, even managed to sack Rome in 410 AD, a symbolic event that highlighted the empire's vulnerability. Meanwhile, a dramatic event unfolded in the winter of 406 to 407 AD when a confederation of tribes including the Alans, Vandals, and Suebi crossed the frozen Rhine River into Gaul. This momentous migration was a direct consequence of the Roman Empire's inability to defend its borders, exacerbated by internal conflicts and external pressures. This invasion was not just a military campaign, it was a mass movement of peoples, uprooting entire communities in search of new lands. Emperor Honorius, ruling from the safety of Ravenna, faced these challenges with a series of decisions that have been widely criticized by historians. His focus on internal power struggles and reliance on barbarian generals, like Stilicho and later Flavius Aetius, led to inconsistent and often ineffective responses to the invasions. The settlements of these tribes laid the foundation for future European states. The Visigoths, after their initial period of wandering and warfare, established the Visigothic kingdom in Aquitania, southwestern Gaul, and later extended into Hispania, modern-day Spain and Portugal. This kingdom, initially recognized by the Roman Empire under the Treaty of Foedus, represented a significant shift from a nomadic tribe to a settled ruling power. Similarly, the Franks, initially a loose coalition of Germanic tribes, began to consolidate power under leaders like Clovis I. By embracing Roman administrative practices and converting to Christianity, Clovis I managed to forge a kingdom that was both barbarian in origin and Roman in governance. This blend of cultures and traditions was crucial in the establishment of the Frankish kingdom, which would eventually evolve into the Carolingian Empire, a cornerstone of medieval European history. The impact of these nascent kingdoms on Europe was profound and far-reaching. Politically, they filled the void left by the Roman Empire, bringing stability to regions that had been ravaged by conflict and migration. Their governance models, a mix of Roman administrative techniques and their own tribal customs, laid the foundation for the feudal systems that would dominate medieval Europe. Culturally, these kingdoms facilitated a fusion of Roman and Germanic traditions. Art, law, religion, and language were all areas where this amalgamation was evident. The Roman influence on the legal systems and administrative structures of these kingdoms was significant, but so were their own tribal customs and laws. Socially, the interaction between the Roman populace and the barbarian settlers led to significant changes in societal structures. The breakdown of the Roman class system and the integration of barbarian and Roman people led to a more fluid social hierarchy, setting the stage for the societal evolution of the medieval period. In essence, the initial settlements of the barbarian tribes and their formation into kingdoms reshaped the map of Europe. They laid the foundations for modern European nations, both in terms of territorial boundaries and cultural identities. Their influence is a testament to the dynamic nature of history and the ever-changing tapestry of human civilization. Leadership is often the deciding factor in the rise and fall of empires and kingdoms. In the case of the barbarian kingdoms, several leaders stand out for their impact and legacy. Alaric I, the king of the Visigoths, is renowned not just for his military prowess, but also for his role in the eventual fall of the Western Roman Empire. His most notable achievement was the sack of Rome in 410 AD, an event that sent shockwaves across the known world. This act, while destructive, was also symbolic of the shifting power dynamics and the decline of Roman authority. Another luminary of this era was Clovis I, the founder of the Merovingian dynasty in the Frankish kingdom. His reign marked the beginning of a significant period in French history. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Clovis converted to Christianity, which helped him gain the support of the Gallo-Roman population and the Roman Catholic Church. This strategic alliance bolstered his position and laid the groundwork for the future unification of the Frankish tribes under a single rule. His legal reforms, including the establishment of the Salic law, were instrumental in shaping the early medieval governance structure. In the annals of history, certain battles are so impactful that they become turning points. The Battle of Adrianople in 378 AD is one such event. This confrontation between the Roman army and the Goths is often cited as one of the most significant defeats in Roman history. The Roman forces, led by Emperor Valens, were decisively beaten by the Goths, leading to the death of Valens himself. This battle not only demonstrated the vulnerabilities of the Roman military, but also marked the beginning of the end for the Western Roman Empire. It emboldened the barbarian tribes and signaled a shift in military power in favor of the barbarian forces. Another major conflict worth noting is the Battle of the Catalonian Plains, also known as the Battle of Chalons, in 451 AD. This battle, often regarded as one of the largest military engagements of the ancient world, was fought between a coalition of Roman and Germanic forces, including the Visigoths, against the Huns led by Attila. This battle is significant for several reasons. It marked the apex of Attila's invasion of the Western Roman Empire and was crucial in stopping the Hunnic advance into Western Europe. The alliance of Roman and barbarian forces under the Roman general Flavius Aetius exemplifies the complex political and military relationships of the time. These leaders and battles were more than just footnotes in the history of the barbarian kingdoms, they were the catalysts that reshaped the landscape of Europe. Their stories highlight the complexities of leadership, the brutal realities of warfare, and the ever-changing nature of power and influence in the ancient world. The fusion of Roman and barbarian cultures was not a simple overlay of one culture upon another, but a complex, multifaceted process that gave birth to a unique and enduring legacy. In the realms of art and architecture, this blend can be seen in the adoption and adaptation of Roman styles by the barbarian tribes. For example, the Visigothic and Ostrogothic kingdoms incorporated Roman architectural elements into their buildings, blending them with their own stylistic traits to create distinctive structures. This cultural synthesis extended to everyday life as well. Roman customs, languages, and legal practices mingled with those of the barbarian peoples. Latin, for instance, evolved as it absorbed elements of Germanic languages, eventually giving rise to the Romance languages. This period was also marked by the transfer of knowledge, as seen in the preservation and transmission of Roman literary and scholarly works by monastic communities, many of which were established by the barbarians. The legal landscape of post-Roman Europe was significantly shaped by the interplay of Roman law and barbarian legal traditions. The Code of Justinian, codified in the Eastern Roman, Byzantine Empire, was a monumental compilation and reform of Roman law. While it had limited immediate impact in the Western territories, it later became a foundational reference for European legal systems during the Renaissance. In contrast, the Salic law, formulated by the Franks, was a customary law that reflected the Germanic tribal traditions. It was significant for its application of personal law, laws that applied to individuals based on their tribal affiliations, rather than territorial law. This legal pluralism, where different laws applied to different groups within the same territory, was a hallmark of the early medieval legal order. The role of Christianity in the barbarian kingdoms cannot be overstated. The conversion of these tribes, often led by their kings, played a crucial role in shaping their identities and political alliances. For instance, Clovis I's conversion to Christianity helped solidify his power and align his kingdom with the Roman Catholic Church, setting a precedent for future European rulers. The Christianization of the barbarian tribes also led to significant social changes. It brought about new forms of governance and law, with the Church playing a central role in the administration of justice and education. Monasteries became centers of learning and preservation of knowledge, including Roman and Christian texts. The Church's influence extended to the moral and ethical spheres, impacting social customs and practices. The barbarian kingdoms were more than ephemeral entities, they were the architects of the medieval world. Their legacies, from legal codes to cultural traditions, continued to influence European history long after their demise. The decline of these kingdoms marked the beginning of a new phase in European history, the early medieval period. Today, we've journeyed through the fall of Rome, the rise of the barbarian kingdoms, and their enduring impact on European history. As we reflect on this pivotal era, we are left to ponder, how did these kingdoms shape the identity of modern Europe? What lessons can we draw from their rise and fall? Thank you for joining us on this historical journey through the rise of the barbarian kingdoms. If you're as passionate about history as we are, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, History Medieval, for more fascinating insights into the medieval world. We've got plenty more content where this came from, so hit that subscribe button and join our community of history enthusiasts. Also, check out the links in the description below to join our platform and connect with fellow history buffs. Share your thoughts, ask questions, and be a part of the conversation.